Hey there, welcome. Today, we are going to tackle the stock market. We're going to decode all that jargon so you can understand what's really happening behind those flashing ticker symbols.
So you hear these words all the time, right? Bulls, bears, bubbles. It can sound more like a zoo than a financial system, but don't you worry. By the end of this, you'll have a really solid handle on the key concepts that make the market tick. Let's jump in with the absolute basics.
All right, first things first. We have to start with the absolute foundation, and that is the idea of ownership itself. I mean, what are you actually buying when you buy a stock?
At its very heart, a stock is just a slice of ownership in a company. The best way to picture it is like this. If a company is an entire pizza, then owning a stock means you own a slice of that pizza. The bigger your slice, the more of the company you own. It really is that simple. Okay, so if the stock is your slice of the pizza, then what in the world is a share? Well, a share is simply the smallest possible piece of that stock you can buy or sell. You can think of it like a single Lego brick that helps make up a much larger model. It's the fundamental building block. And that's where you come in. If you own even one single share, just one of those Lego bricks, then congratulations, you are officially a shareholder. That means you're a part owner of that company. You're entitled to a piece of its success. Okay, so you want in. You want a piece of that pizza. But where do you actually go to buy it or sell it? Well, that brings us to the marketplace.
You go to a stock exchange, and hey, forget those chaotic scenes you see in old movies with people shouting and throwing paper everywhere. It's much more like a massive, high-tech, and very regulated farmer's market. But instead of apples and tomatoes, people are trading ownership in the world's biggest companies.
Here in the US, you've got two main players, and they have totally different vibes. You have the NYSE, the New York Stock Exchange. Think of it as the traditional suit-and-tie banker, full of history. Then you've got the NASDAQ, which is more like the modern, hoodie-wearing tech entrepreneur. It's fast, it's electronic, and it's home to giants like Apple and Amazon. But how does a company even get onto one of these exchanges? Well, that happens through something called an IPO, which stands for Initial Public Offering. This is the moment a private company goes public by selling its shares for the very first time. It's a huge deal. It's like a band that's been practicing in a garage finally getting to headline a massive stadium tour. And why go through all that trouble? To raise capital. And I mean serious capital. Let's just do some quick math. If a company offers, say, 100 million shares at $25 a piece during its IPO, boom, it instantly raises $2.5 billion. That is a massive injection of cash to grow the business. So we've got companies, we've got exchanges, but the market isn't just a cold, calculating machine. Oh no. It has moods, it has feelings, it has momentum. So let's talk about those ups and downs. This brings us to the two big animals of Wall Street. First, you have a bull market. That's when prices are generally on the rise and people are feeling optimistic. It gets its name from how a bull thrusts its horns up, and then you have its opposite, a bear market. That's a rougher period where prices fall by 20% or more. Just picture a big bear swiping its powerful claws down. And the speed of these changes, that's what we call volatility. When you hear about high volatility, it just means the market is having some pretty wild mood swings, with prices jumping all over the place. There's even a special index for it, the VIX, that people call the market's fear gauge. Now, sometimes all that optimism gets, well, a little out of hand, and that can create what's known as a bubble. This happens when the price of something gets inflated way, way beyond what it's actually worth, usually driven by pure hype. The dot-com craze is a classic example, and eventually reality sets in and that bubble bursts. All right, we've got the markets moved down. Now let's pop the hood and look at the actual mechanics, the specific rules of the road that govern trading every single day.
One of the most important terms you'll hear is volume. It's simply the total number of shares that get traded in a single day. Now, why does it matter? Because it tells you how much conviction is behind a price change. It shows that a whole lot of people are paying attention and putting their money where their mouth is. You know, there's this classic saying among traders, volume confirms the trend. And it's so true. Think about it. A stock's price drifting up on really low volume? Could be anything. But a stock shooting up on massive volume, that suggests something real is happening. Volume gives the price move its meaning.
So what happens when things really go off the rails and prices start to plummet? Well, the market actually has a built-in emergency brake. They're called circuit breakers. If the whole market, the S&P 500, drops 7%, trading just stops for 15 minutes, a mandatory timeout. If it falls to 13%, another 15-minute halt. And a 20% drop? That's it. Trading is over for the day. It's all designed to prevent outright panic.
Okay, for our last section, let's zoom out a bit. We're going to move from the nitty-gritty mechanics to the bigger picture. The key ideas that help you start thinking like a real long-term investor.
First up, dividends. Think of these as a little thank you from the company. They're actual cash payments that some companies send out to their shareholders, usually once a quarter. It's a company literally sharing its profits directly with you, the owners. It's income you can get just for holding on to the stock.
Next is liquidity, and this one is super important. It basically answers the question, how easily can you buy or sell a stock without your own trade messing with the price? The analogy here is perfect. High liquidity is like a big, wide, clear exit door in a packed movie theater. You can get out anytime you want. Low liquidity is, well, you're stuck in your seat. You always want a clear exit. And what makes all these companies go? What does the engine run on? Capital. And we're not just talking about cash here. Capital is the whole shebang. It's the factories, the technology, the patents, the cash. It's basically all the stuff a business uses to create value. It's the fuel for the company's engine. And finally, let's talk about the all-stars of the stock market, blue chip stocks. These are the huge, stable, rock-solid companies you've known about for years. We're talking Apple, Microsoft, Johnson & Johnson. Owning a blue chip stock is kind of like having LeBron James on your basketball team. It doesn't guarantee a championship, but you are for sure going to sleep a little better at night. And there you have it. From stocks as slices of pizza to blue chips as your team's MVP, you now speak the language of the market. You've got the foundational terms down. So the real question left is, what will you do with it? Thanks for tuning in.